guys, it's Jarvie from Wild Engineering. So as you may have seen in the intro, I've built a lot of multipliers, and it's not just me, it's Nano and Penscii have also been working together with me on these multiplier designs, and we have iterated through a lot of different designs now, and we have ended up on this. So we believe that this is probably the fastest and most compact multiplier in Minecraft to date. It is 46 ticks latency from input to output. It is 5 Hz, and it is signed. So all of that include, like, the latency includes the signing units on this as well. So 46 ticks, including the input and output signing units. So the way it has to work is it has to take the absolute value of the inputs, then multiply them, XOR the signs, and then reapply the sign on the output. So it's not just a multiplier, you also have the output stage and the input stage that adds delay to it as well. Okay, so the idea here is there's 5 numbers in this. This is a ROM here, and there's 5 slots for numbers, and we have 2 sets of inputs. So we have we can multiply a preset of 5 numbers at a time, and what happens is this streams through a number every 2 ticks, as you can see here. So when you start the clock there, it'll start multiplying all these numbers through here and then just continually send it through this device. So if I start the clock by putting a 2-tick pulse in like that, you can then see that this pulses once every, well, it'd have to be 10 ticks. So every second this pulses, and we get 5 numbers per second coming through here on each input, so it's really 10 numbers per second because there's 2 inputs. And then on the output here we have our result. So you can see it's 5 Hz pipelined because a new number is coming out at every 2 ticks. And it's pretty quick. We can count the delay right now if you'd like. And it's really easy to count the delay. We're going to start from the sign bit. And the reason we start from the sign bit is because the sign bit delay has to match the multiplier delay all the way through to resync with the output so that we apply the sign at the right time, and it's just way easier to count that. So what we're going to do is we're going to call this tick 0, and then into the unit here is tick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, and then you're on the output. So 46 ticks for the entire latency of this. Now let's look at the inputs and prove that the output that we got is what the input is. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here, I'm going to press F1, and I'm going to lower my field of view a little bit, and then I'm going to take a screenshot. I'm going to bring my field of view back up a little bit. Alright, now I'm going to open up the screenshot. I'm going to run my script here that's called fixed point script. And it's going to ask us sign, integers, fractional. So we have 1 sign, we have 8 integers, and then we have 7 fractional bits. So 1, comma space, 8, comma space, 7. Alright, so now let's go back into the game, and let's figure out what the inputs are. So what we have is 7 times 6, which is obviously 42. So if we put in here, we open up both of these at the same time, and we type in 42. It says this is that binary number right there. So we're looking for 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, and all zeros. So right there is 42. So you can see that it's also right there. And it's also right here. So since this is kind of head on right here, we'll look at this one. So this column right here is 42. So if I edit, can I draw? I know, back, draw. Cool. Okay, so take red. Oh, can I undo? Editing all that out? No undo. Anyway, so shit. Now that I'm in a editing program that's fucking usable. Here we have the number 42. So we're going to be looking at this column. Going down. Whoops. Okay. 42. So now we're gonna do, we're gonna pull up our calculator, and we're gonna do that. So calculator, 3.125 times 4.25, and we know it's negative 13 point that. So we come into here, we type in minus, and then Control V, and it tells us that's the value. We come to our paint, we look here, and we want this. And so here we should see the next value, which is 11111 0010 decimal point 10111 decimal point 10111. Perfect. So that right there is then the result, negative 13.28125 exactly. Okay, so that's good. That one was good. Alright, so now on to this next one. So in game, that is going to be 5.5 times 4, which is 22. And we can see here that 16 plus 4 plus 2, so it's 16 plus 4 is 20, plus 2 is 22. So that one we know is good. Come back. 35 times 2.125. Alright, let's pull out the calculator for that. 35 times 35 times 2.125. 74.375. So we will put that into the fixed point converter. There we go. And then we'll look here. So now we need 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. Perfect. And then 0, 1, 1, 0, and all zeros. So that's exactly that right there. So that column is good. And now we just have one more to go. Negative 2.5 times negative 14.75. Minus, well, I'll just do 2.5 times 14.75. We know a negative times a negative is a positive. So we should have 30. I'll do it again. Just 2.5 times 14.75. I know it was I didn't make them both negative, so there we go. So we want to convert that number, and it's that. And you'll see here now in this column we have 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, sorry, and then 3 ones in a row right there, which is perfect, because that's the decimal point right there. Oops. Yeah, the decimal point is in between that transition between green to blue, where it's 8 integers, 7, and then there's that sign bit right up there. So that's how this knows how to put it in the right format here, because we told it right there, that's the format. So back in game here, you can see that this is working fine. So now you can see what's going on here is the input comes through. This takes the absolute value of that and passes the sign information down. And the sign gets XOR'd here. So, you know, a negative times a negative is a positive, but a negative times a positive is a negative, and a positive times a negative is a negative, and then positive times positive is a positive, obviously. So this that's basically XOR just on the signs. Well, it is XOR on the signs. So that's what we do there. What's going on here is this takes the bus down to the x-axis, and this is the bus for the y-axis, and the y-axis bus is diagonal like this because it's instead of being on the y-axis, we're shifting it so that we are aligning all the bit values on top of each other. So this is like the 1s, the 2s, the 4s, yada yada yada, but it's actually not the 1s. This is actually like the first, like the least significant bit, which is like, you know, 1/16 or whatever it is, or 1 over 2 to the 7, so like 1/28. And then up here is the most significant bit. The reason the busing looks like this is because I wanted to keep it square. Square it off. You can see this is very flat. Then what's going on is we take all these half products, they're called, and we sum them together using carry save adders. But we're not using regular carry save adders because in all those other multipliers that you saw on the intro, if you're still watching this and made it this far, all those other multipliers used 3 to 2 carry save adders, meaning they took 3 inputs in and produced 2 outputs, the carry and the sum. And then you'd take, then you'd pass those on into more carry save adders. What this does is because in Minecraft we have signal strength, we can convert these bit values to signal strength, sum them, and create a 4-bit number, and then pass those 4-bit numbers into just an adder. So that's what's going on here. Is we're adding the bit positions together as signal strength, and then converting it to a 4-bit number, and then summing those 4-bit numbers. So instead of 3 to 2 CSA reductions, we're doing 15 to 4. So we're taking 15 inputs and shrinking it down to 4 outputs versus 3 inputs and to 2 outputs. The reduction is much better. So because of that, we're saving a lot of adding stages in between. This is simplifying a lot of the adder stages just right there. Literally right there, saving like six adder stages. So then we just take the sums off of those, and then sum the sums, and we then reapply the sign here. And you can see the sign bit just comes through here. This was just the easiest way for just shits and giggles to come through. And then yeah. And the reason I could just count the sign bit, right, is like this bit here, it's synced. You can see how this has 2 ticks on it and this has 1, because that's taking account for that tick, because if it takes 1, 2 ticks to get there, it needs to take 1, 2 to get there. So that's why I'm able to count the delay on just one input here, because it's synced. Obviously it needs to be synced if it's 5 Hz. And yeah, that's kind of what's going on here. It's just a really fast multiplier, both in terms of latency and frequency, I guess bandwidth. It requires a feed of, if you want to run this at its max speed, it requires 160 bits per second input. 80 bits per 80 bits per second for each input. So 2 inputs, that's 160 bits per second. And on the output stream, you get an output of 80 bits per second. But to feed it, you need 160, right? So now to show you guys why we built these. Okay, so here is a 4x4 array of those multipliers. So 16 total. So if we pull up our calculator, and we do 160 times 16, 2560. So this requires 2.56 kilobits per second to be fed, to feed all of this. So like that's almost real world numbers there in terms of bits per second required to feed the input. The idea here is that we can apply any 3D, any transformation to any 3D object and then project it into 2D space using the W coordinate, or the W axes, I guess. So this tells us like how much to squish the results of the transformation of the inputs. And then to do that, we need to divide it by W. So we need dividers that are 5 Hz capable, and these are just what we stuck on here for now. We have another version that Penscii designed that's double density borrow cancel subtraction based. So it's faster in latency, and it does 16 bits divided by 8 instead of 8 divided by 8 like this. So we might switch to that design, but we just stuck these on here for now just to see what it would look like and to see like how long it would be, and just to kind of get an idea. So the idea here is what we could do is we could pass through some vertices, transform the object however we want, and get an output list of vertices, and pass those and like send those to line drawers where they would then connect those vertices together with like the object file would tell it what vertices to connect where to draw the object. And so you could then tell it like always connect these vertices but then transform them this way. So I'm rotating by 90 degrees, but it knows to always draw a line between these two or something like that. And and then that would allow us to like draw a 3D rotating cube, and that where like as it rotates, the edge closest to you looks bigger than the edge farther away. So you get the projection that looks correct. So that's the idea that we're doing here, and that's why you can see like the reason that these multipliers had to be very square, because I was trying to get them to stack as close as possible, and I think that's pretty freaking good. One air gap in between, like come on, that's pretty amazing if you ask me. So yeah, so that's what's coming next, is we need to build the queue that can handle the dispatch of the coordinates, because the line drawers can only handle 12 lines at a time. So this needs to dispatch to a queue, and then the queue will feed the line drawers, and as the line drawers get freed up, it will then as the line drawer frees up, it'll request data from the queue to send to it. Kind of like a round robin deal. So first to get freed up gets data, and then just keep drawing new lines until the whole object file has been fed. And once the whole object file is done, then that frame is done, and then you can draw the next frame by feeding that object file through with either the results of that object file transformation. You can feed them back through the input, or you can just, like, if you're rotating it by like 5 degrees and then you want to make it like that object looks like it was rotated again by another 5, instead of passing it back through and needing a data loop, you can just rotate it by 10 degrees the next time or something like that. So you can overcome some data hazards and stuff like that by doing this technique. But anyway, yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you guys liked. Yeah, there's a Discord link in the description. You should join it. There's also a ERC20 wallet that if you want to download if you want to donate Ethereum or any ERC20 token, feel free to send it to that address. I appreciate it. And yeah, leave a like and comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.